Okay.
Tarkan. Oh, no reception.
There's what? Wi-Fi?
Okay, we're gonna find it right now. I think this is it. Big tune! I should play this in the set.
You should. It's a video.
Yeah, it is. Ah, what a great song. Anyways, welcome to a new episode of Jyoty'S tips and tricks. If you're new here and you've got no clue what we're doing, then first of all, go to my IGTV or my YouTube page and you can see all the previous sessions. But basically, a little session with tips, tricks, insights, experiences, little intel on the world of DJing, radio, presenting, all the other things that I'm kind of dipping my fingers and my toes in. Bro, you know I lost my pinky toenail.
Oh.
Anyways, today's session is just a quick one. And I think what's gonna happen with today's one is maybe it could be a reoccurring thing, something I have to come back to. But basically today is all about don'ts, things that you shouldn't do. And I'm gonna tell you why you shouldn't do them. For today's session, I did a little IG story where I asked people to send me in their don'ts. So whatever I'm gonna say to you today is not just based on my experiences, it's also coming from different DJs, different producers, different people in the industry. So it's great to hear the opinion of people who have different roles, because they get to deal with you as an artist and they have been doing this for so long. They've seen them come, they've seen them go. It's only good to take it on board and try to not add on to the list of don'ts, especially when it comes to yourself. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does. Don't be late. Surprisingly, that still needs to be said. Don't be late to a set, because not only are all those people gonna wonder where you are and what's going on, but there has to be someone who is filling in the time until you get there. And then if there's someone on after you, their time is being cut into. Start thinking this from the start, because it'll get you into the habit of being on time. I am very late very often, but bookings, not late. Have I run in just in time? Yes. Have I been late for a booking? No. Another really good one, again, this actually happens way more often than it surprises me that this still happens. Other DJs showing up and saying, yo, can I borrow your headphones? What? Excuse me, sir or ma'am, what did you come here to do? That don't make no sense. Don't be dick. I agree. Don't be rude. You know what? I'm just gonna stick to this, yeah. The same people you see on your way up are the same people you're gonna see on your way down. I'm talking like, don't be rude to anyone around you, is not only just because that's just common sense and you should just be a nice person all year round, all day round, but also you don't know where people are gonna be in 6 months or where they already are outside of that evening. Someone is gonna always come around being in a position where you need them more than they need you. And if you've been rude, that's gonna come and bite you in the booty. And if you're into that type of stuff, you a freak. No, I like a little bite on my butt. This one, I had a great list from our girl. So Juju is a DJ from Rotterdam. Great example, she's an amazing DJ herself. She gets booked at all the big festivals, big parties, big stages, but she also runs her own DJ agency. And she also runs her own party. So not only does she function as the talent, she's also an agent. She's also a promoter and a booker. So I asked her for her opinion as a booker and a promoter dealing with DJs. And she gave me a great list, which I'm gonna give you a few of. Don't drink from another artist's rider without permission. If the word rider is new to you, when you go and play somewhere, there's hospitality, divided in two types of riders. There's a technical rider, which is what kind of equipment you require to do your set. My talent likes to play on these CDJs, this type of mixer, likes a microphone, prefers this brand of microphone. It can get as detailed as you want. And then there's a hospitality rider, food and drink and all sorts of extra niceness that you'd like for your performance. Some people have really outrageous ones. We all know the stories of just blue M&Ms, but usually it's like, what kind of alcohol do you like? Do you want any snacks? Do you want some fruit? Yada, yada, yada. Now on a whole evening, if there's like 5 people playing, there'll be 5 different riders. You know exactly what's on your rider. So if you ask for rum and tequila and you see a bottle of vodka, why would you open the bottle of vodka if you know you didn't ask for it? Don't do that. That's rude.
Have you done that?
I've never done that. I wouldn't. I would never. I'm trying to think, have I? I've done that not as a DJ. I've done that just being completely wasted in a green room because I'm there with somebody. This is a really good one. Oh, again, I can speak from personal experience of where I've done this. Okay, don't play tracks of an act that's on after you, whether that's a live act or a DJ, because a lot of DJs are producers as well. Do not play the music of anyone who's on after you. Before is different. If they've already had like their premiere moment and a song is such a big hit and you know it's like your two acts after that producer or after that live act, you can bring back one of their songs. That's okay. But if they're still on after you and they really deserve that big moment of where the song that people have been waiting for gets played for the first time that night, you cannot steal that moment from them. Carnival 3 summers ago, this is one of the first bookings I ever had. It was on my birthday. I was wasted. I was on a lineup where I was literally the youngest DJ on the bill. Like, and youngest as in, I mean the newest into the world of DJing. I showed up and I see Rosca playing. I'm thinking, how am I on after Rosca? It's someone I look up to so much. But I think the reason why I got given that time slot is because of every promoter has different reasons. Some people do it building up in size, but you also have to deal with a DJ having a booking afterwards. So sometimes someone is way bigger than you, but they just have to play the earlier set because they're doing multiple bookings that night, which is obviously the case with Rosca. Anyways, I'm on now, and I know that there was also a few other extremely big names on that bill, like Lil Silva. In my head, I'd really told myself that Lil Silva has already played because the daytime party, which is obviously the bigger party at Carnival, had already happened. I play Seasons as one of my last songs in my set. You know, dun 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 dun. Crowd goes off. Who comes into the booth 3 minutes later as the next DJ? It's Lil Silva. And he looks at me in a way that I didn't really understand then. But once I clocked who he actually was and what he was there to do, which is play his set, which has a lot of his own production, which would definitely include his biggest song to date, I was so embarrassed because I know I really took that moment from him. And probably also the crowd. Because like, what's the crowd's gonna be like, wait, what, we've already heard this song, we already screamed and yelled, so what's going on? I still blame it on it being my birthday. It was really embarrassing. DJs that ask if they can just stick their USB into the decks while there's no one in the crowd yet. No, you haven't been booked. It doesn't matter. If you're not on the lineup, if you haven't been booked, you are that night, you are not a DJ. Nobody needs you today. Thank you very much. This is one that not everyone will agree with. I personally do agree with this. Do not keep your coat on behind the decks. See, if you're behind the decks with your coat on looking all like you're not really here having a good time, you're not here for a long time, I don't know if I should really put my coat in the cloakroom because you look like you're about to dip any second. Am I gonna wanna dip any second? I want you to look comfortable. I want you to look like you came there to have a good time. And then I'll take my coat off and have a good time. Do not bring boring entourage in the booth with you. Now, a great example to give you proof of this is any boiler room you've ever seen where the DJ is really doing their thing, but people around the DJ are on their phone, are just looking bored, are just having like a whole conversation with the friend, doing anything but looking like they're having a good time. I think this is great advice. That's the number one thing that everyone in the crowd sees. Now, if it's not even a party in the booth, how's it gonna be a party outside the booth? Another one on entourage. Keep your entourage in check. I agree with this one. Trust me, I've been the entourage and I just came along to have free drinks and have a good time, and you end up having a better time than anybody else in that building and you start misbehaving. No. If you're coming with me to my job, to my work, don't make me look bad. Don't be rude. Don't be causing any fights. Don't be messy. Don't get like too drunk and start like being a liability. Don't bother the other DJs. If there's someone you're a fan of, don't act like a fan. Also, don't demand things. This is the worst thing. When you have talent that is very relaxed, not asking for anything, but their friends are demanding and asking for things, honestly, it's the worst. A big don't, if you're an opening DJ, is don't try to prove yourself by playing bangers. If you've been booked to open the night, know what the promoter expects from you. Don't play songs that you think are gonna make you change in the eyes of a promoter from an opening DJ to a main set time DJ. It really is a skill to be a good opening DJ, and it's definitely not something to look down upon or frown upon. Absolutely not. Don't go in full force, no one on the dance floor. You're just playing music that people would normally do cartwheels to, and now the 10 people that have come into the venue are too scared to even go to the front because they were just expecting to having to do a two-step, and now you got them doing the routine to walk, but there's no wet ass pussy yet because it's 10 p.m. So just try not to do that. Do your homework. So this is not a don't, it's a do your homework, and don't show up to a party without knowing what the party is known for. I think when you're a household name, like if you're a big bad DJ, you're getting booked specifically for what you're known for. And a promoter won't book you unless they know for sure that the crowd is gonna wanna see whatever it is you do. You know, there's a lot of like multi-genre DJs who can switch it up from night to night. Do they have a specific audience that they usually attract no matter who they've booked? Is there a kind of theme or a genre that they're specifically known for booking artists within? Know what you're expected to do. Don't show up to a party that is known for doing the best like hip hop sets and all of a sudden you feel like playing tech that night, so you're gonna start playing techno. Do a little bit of homework. It'll only work in your advantage. Make sure you have like, you know, a main folder that you specifically created for that night, for that party, but then you have some backup folders that you could dive into if the crowd is different to what you expected to do. But at least you did your homework, you know that you tried and you did your best. And if you had to go into plan B or C sound-wise, then it's only because of the environment and not because you didn't prepare yourself. And I think the reason why it's a gray area is as you get bigger, a lot of people will say, don't book me unless you want me to do me. And I think that's also a very fair point, but it's a gray area. Like at some point, you kind of go from sticking to a brief to becoming the brief. Oof. Oh my God, yes! Such an important one. Oh my God. Let's say you're on at 2 a.m. So the DJ before you is playing, it's like 5 to 2. Don't be rushing up to the decks, being like already putting your, if you're there, wait until it's 2. If the DJ before you is not aware of, you know, it's now your time, you don't have to go crazy. Just, you know, pull up, be like, hey, how many songs you got left? Oh, it's 2. Well, let me play one more and then it's you. Cool. Take it easy. Let them finish their set. But also, in the same breath, if you're the DJ who's playing and you can see the next DJ is getting ready, look at your phone. Does it say 2 a.m.? Were you supposed to switch over at 2 a.m.? Don't be that person that says one more song and then one song turns into 5. And then the other DJ is the DJ there standing with their USB looking mad awkward. Don't be that person, please. Don't be forcing, and then don't be not wanting to take it out. Don't force it in, don't. Balance, you know? The last two are gonna come from me. Like I said, this might be a session that we keep bringing more often as I gather more information, because I think there's so many don'ts, but I can't put them all in one video. But also, I don't want you to think that we've called it a don't, that it's a negative, but I think when I tell you know what not to do, it becomes very clear for you what to do. But it's not, we're coming at it in a negative way. But to keep it negative for a second, you know what I really don't like? Do not send music or mixes or anything you want to promote in the DMs. Please stop doing this. It's the worst. Why? It's not the place for it. You have to imagine, if someone is really active on social media like myself, I post 20 stories a day. I have a lot of friends who then comment on a lot of these stories that turn into long conversations. These are conversations that are not extremely important, so they could get lost because there's so much activity happening on this platform. If it's work, you don't want your work to get lost, so why would you send it to me in a DM? It also sometimes comes across a little bit lazy, especially if, like myself, you have an email button in your bio. You'll be shocked at how often people DM me saying, hey, do you have an email address I can send you something to? And I always think, yeah, it's in the button that says email in my bio.
It's in the button.
It's in the button. Please trust me. Send an email. If someone doesn't reply to your email, follow up with an email. Follow up in a DM saying, hey, I've sent you an email. When you have time, take a look at it. It's about this or that. Do not expect people to listen to links or go through attachments in DMs. It just doesn't work that way. This other one, the last one I'm going to leave you with, when I invite you onto my radio show, which in my case is on Rinse FM, yes, you should also big up the station. Absolutely. Because if I wasn't on Rinse, I wouldn't have a radio show. Now, what you shouldn't do, however, is give all credit to the radio station. Thank you to Rinse for inviting me, or thank you for Rinse for putting me on the playlist. Rinse didn't invite you to come on my show. It's my show. I like your music. I'm a fan of yours. I've invited you to come on my show that happens to be on Rinse. Do not diminish the work and the love and the effort from the host, the presenter, the specialist, the DJ who invited you on. It happens too often. Know who has shown you love over time. I don't want to call it helping you because then that's putting too much like credit on my own name, but I will say this. Remember who has supported you. It'll work in your favor to not forget people. I'm definitely going to be back with some more don'ts soon. Hit me up. Find me on Instagram, JYOTY. If there's any don'ts that come to mind, just DM them to me. I'll collate them all and we'll be back with another video.
Get up and leave.
Oh.